morning friends. Today we will discuss the 4-stroke SI engine, that is spark ignition engine, or popularly known as the petrol engine. Now what is the engine? Engine is nothing but it is a device. It is a device which converts the chemical energy of fuel into the mechanical energy. So device which converts chemical energy of fuel into the mechanical energy is called as engine. So broadly it can be classified as a IC engine and EC engine. IC engine is the internal combustion engine and EC is the external combustion. What is the IC engine? So when the combustion of fuel takes place inside the cylinder, it is called as IC engine, internal combustion. When the combustion of fuel takes place outside the cylinder, then it is called as the external combustion engine. Now here you can see the figure of an engine and various important components of an engine. Now the main component of engine are the block, then crankshaft. This is the crankshaft. This is the block. Now this is the cylinder in which the combustion takes place. This is the piston which reciprocates inside the cylinder. Now these are the two valves. Here you can see these are the two valves, inlet and exhaust. Then this is the spark plug, combustion chamber, and the cylinder head. So these are some of the important components of an engine. Now here the names of the various components are given here and listed here. So you can go through it. That is the block, head, valves, piston, crankshaft, crankcase, crankpin, camshaft, fuel pump, spark plug. These are the important components of an engine. Now we'll see this component one by one. What is their function? So we'll start with the cylinder block. This is here you can in this picture you can see this is a cylinder block. It is generally the casting is in the manufacturing process is casting. Now what is the function of a block? It houses it performs as a houses all the components of an engine. So it houses all the components like crankshaft, cylinder, the piston, all are they incorporated in this cylinder block. So here you can see these are the four round shapes are here. You can see this is the place to accommodate the cylinders. Now this is a 4-cylinder engine. Now here you can see this is the cylinder number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in this portion the cylinder get fits and here the crankshaft will get fitted. So it is bottom structure where all the components of the engines are incorporated or get fixed. Now cylinder head, this is the cylinder head and this is the it fits on the top of the cylinder block. So basic function of the cylinder head is that it houses the valves. So there are two valves, I told you that, inlet and exhaust. So the basic function of the cylinder head is to houses the valve and it fits on the top of this block. This is the block and on the top of this block here you can see studs are there. So on this top of the block that cylinder head will get fitted. Now next is valve. Now there are two valves per cylinder. Now one is the inlet valve and second will be exhaust valve. The function of the inlet valve is to take or intake the fresh charge. Charge means a mixture of air and the petrol, that is air and fuel, that will be sucked through that inlet valve, and exhaust valve through which the exhaust product, whatever the gases which are coming out from that exhaust will be moved out from that engine. So per cylinder there will be two valves. So if the 4-cylinder engine is there, then their number of valves are 8. So one inlet valve and one exhaust valve per cylinder. So 2 valves per cylinder is there. Now next component is piston. Now here you can see this is the piston and it is reciprocate inside the cylinder. The green one is called as the cylinder. So this is the combustion space. So here you can see the piston is reciprocating inside the cylinder and all the strokes performed here. Like there are 4 strokes in a 4-stroke petrol engine: first, suction, compression, expansion and exhaust. These all processes are done in this cylinder. Now this piston is connected to this crankshaft by means of this connecting rod, or it is popularly known as a con rod. So function of that piston is to connect that with the crankshaft, and it is used to convert that rotary motion of that crank into the reciprocating motion. It is having a reciprocating motion basically. Now the piston rings. Here you can see the piston is having the grooves. So that piston ring will get fitted on that grooves. So there are basically 2 types of piston rings. One will be a compression ring and other will be a oil ring. So these are the 2 types of the piston rings. So compression ring seals the expansion chamber. So after that power stroke, whatever the power is produced, that gaseous force should not be moved out from that cylinder. That is the function of the compression. So whenever you encountered with the problem of such, you are not getting a pickup to your bike or moped, so there might be first problem will be that the compression rate, it might get worn out. So before opening an engine, the mechanics used to remove that or change the compression rate. So that is the function of compression rate. Second type of ring is an oil ring. Oil ring is used to scrap the oil which is formed on the inside surface of the cylinder. So it avoids the formation of the oil layer inside the surface of the cylinder. That is the function of the oil ring. Now next is a connecting rod. It is popularly known as a con rod. So basic function of connecting rod is to connect the piston and the crankshaft. So there will be 2 ends of the connecting rod or con rod. One will be a small end which is get fitted to the piston by means of the gudgeon pin, or it is also called as a piston pin. And second is the big end. The big end of the con rod is fitted with the crankshaft by means of the crank pin. So function of a con rod is to convert the rotary motion of this crankshaft into the reciprocating motion of the cylinder. Into reciprocating motion of the piston. So it or vice versa. So it can convert the rotary motion of crank to the reciprocating motion of the piston, or reciprocating motion of the piston into the rotary motion of crank. That is the function of a connecting rod. Now important component is the crankshaft. So this is the important component which translates the reciprocating motion of piston into rotation. So to convert the reciprocating motion in a rotation, the crankshaft has a crank pin and typically connects to the flywheel. It is connected to the flywheel. Here you can see this is the piston which reciprocates inside the cylinder, and this is the connecting rod, and this is the red one is called as a crankshaft. The crankshaft is attached with the piston by means of the connecting rod, and it is again attached to the flywheel also. So it typically connects to the flywheel and reduces the pulsation. It reduces the pulsation characteristics in a 4-stroke engine. So main function of a crankshaft is to receive the oscillating motion from connecting rod and gives a rotary motion to the main shaft, as well as it also drives the camshaft. So timing chain is there, so that will connect the crankshaft and the camshaft. So the camshaft runs the crankshaft runs the camshaft. Now this is another important shaft in the engine, that is called as a camshaft. Now here you can see the camshaft, it consists of particular cam lobes. A particular shape is given to it, and this component is called as the rocker arm, which is connected to the walls. So basic function of this camshaft is it controls that opening and closing of the walls. Excuse me. So when that particular cam lobe come under this rod, so that wall will get open or get closed. So particular timing is given into the engine, and that timing is having very much importance. So because if there is a problem in the timing of an engine, so there will be a efficiency loss of great effect. So that you have to see that it is having a proper time. So function of camshaft is to opening and closing of the walls. Excuse me. Now this is the camshaft. Now spark plug. Spark plug is used in a petrol engine, so to ignite a air fuel mixture. So at the end of the compression stroke, the spark plug used to ignite a spark, and due to that spark the combustion of fuel takes place. Now here you can see this is the animation of the 4-stroke petrol engine. So all the 4 strokes you can see here. So what is the stroke? Now here you can see the piston is there. So there will be two limiting positions of the piston. One is the extreme top position. So that is called as a TDC, and other will be a bottom position, that is called as a BDC. TDC means a top dead center and BDC is a bottom dead center. So what is the stroke? So either the piston movement either from TDC to BDC, that is top dead center to the bottom dead center, or BDC to TDC will term as a stroke. Got it? So what is the stroke? So the piston movement from TDC to BDC or BDC to TDC will be termed as stroke. So to complete a thermodynamic process of all these 4 processes, it requires 4 strokes of the piston in a 4-stroke petrol engine. So these are, first stroke is the intake, or it is also popularly called as the suction stroke. Second stroke is a compression stroke. Third is the expansion stroke, and fourth will be the exhaust stroke. So we will see one by one. What is the intake stroke? So initially the piston is at top dead center, TDC, and the piston will move from TDC towards BDC. What will happen because of that? The suction will be created inside the cylinder, and that suction will cause the inlet valve to get open. Because of the suction created by the movement of the piston, the inlet valve will get open, and the fresh charge, I repeat, the fresh charge means it is a mixture of petrol and air. It is a mixture of the petrol and air. The carburetor is an important component which prepares that charge. Now that fresh charge will rush inside the cylinder. This will continue till the piston reaches at bottom dead center. And the cylinder is full of the charge. Cylinder is filled with the full of the charge. This is the first stroke, that is called the intake stroke, and at that time only the inlet valve is open and exhaust is closed. Now second stroke. Now at this start of the second stroke is a compression stroke. At the start of this compression stroke, what is the position of the piston? It is at bottom dead center. The position of the piston is at BDC. So the piston will move from BDC towards the TDC. As you know, in a first stroke, suction stroke, the cylinder is filled with the charge, and in a second stroke, the piston will move from BDC towards the TDC, compressing the charge which is already present inside the cylinder. As it moves in upward direction, it will compress the charge which is present inside the cylinder. In this case, compression stroke, position of the valves, both valves are to be closed. Both valves, inlet and exhaust, are to be closed. Now, expansion, or it is also popularly called as a power stroke. Now, what will happen in a power stroke? Now, when it compresses, the piston compresses that charge. At the end of the compression stroke, here you can see this component is called as a spark plug. This component is called as a spark plug. That spark plug ignites a spark. It ignites a spark, and due to that, when that spark come in a contact with that high pressurized charge, what will happen? The combustion of fuel takes place. The combustion of charge will take place. And due to that combustion, what will happen? It will produce a gaseous force. It will produce that gaseous force, and that force will make that piston to move from top dead center towards the bottom dead center. Top dead center to the bottom dead center. And in this also, both the valves are closed. And last stroke, in an exhaust stroke, again the piston will move from the bottom dead center to the top dead center, BDC to the TDC. So now, after the power stroke, now this cylinder is filled with all the exhaust product, exhaust gases. Now in this, the valve, when that piston moves from BDC towards the TDC, the exhaust valve will get open. And the exhaust product remaining inside the cylinder will be moved out through this exhaust tube, and the process completes. So in a suction stroke, the inlet valve is open, exhaust is closed. In a compression stroke, both the valves are closed. In an expansion or a power stroke, both the valves are closed. And in the exhaust stroke, suction valve is closed and exhaust valve is open. Now, what we will see that how that different components of an engine, as well as the working of the 4-stroke engine. Now, I will show you that how that assembly will be done. So, I will show you the animation, how that assembly of that engine will take place. Now here you can see this is the engine block which houses all the components. So this is the crankshaft, and here you can see the con rod or connecting rod. The piston are get fitted by using an piston kit. Now that whole assembly will get fitted there in a block. Now this is a flywheel. This is a cylinder head which houses the valves. These are the valves. The cylinder head houses the valves as well as the spark plug also, and it fits top on the block. Here you can see these are the valves, and this is the camshaft, and this camshaft is run by that crankshaft. Now this whole total assembly is get fitted on the top of the block. Now here you can see the timing chain, and this camshaft is called as the overhead camshaft. You can see this is a timing chain through which the crankshaft operates the camshaft. So the camshaft runs at half of the speed of the crankshaft. So the crankshaft powers the camshaft. Now this is the tappet cover. It fits top of that cylinder head. And this is the sump, oil sump. So oil will be stored in this. This is called as a drain plug. So whenever the we have to remove that oil from the engine, we have to remove that drain plug. So these are the electrical component: dynamo, water pumps, the exhaust system. These are also important components. This is called as a dipstick. It is used to check the level of the oil. That is called as a what? Dipstick. Here you can see the spark plugs are get fitted over there. This is a dynamo. Now we will see how that actual simulation of that actual engine running, or how that piston will move inside the cylinder. Here you can see that camshaft operates that valves, and this is the crankshaft is connected to the flywheel, and how the connecting rod operates that pistons, and how that reciprocating motion of the piston will be converted into rotary motion of the crank, how that camshaft will get rotated by using a crankshaft. Now here you can see the stroke, the piston movement from top to bottom, the suction stroke. So inlet valve will get open and charge will rush inside. And second stroke, at the end of the compression stroke, that is compression means from BDC towards TDC, it will compress the charge. And at the end of the compression stroke, this is the spark plug which ignites a spark. So that will causes the burning of fuel or combustion of fuel, and that will force that piston to move in a downward direction. So that is nothing but the power stroke. And last stroke is the exhaust, which will move, that piston will move from BDC to a TDC, exhaust valve will get open, exhaust product will be moved out through the exhaust tube. So this is how it works. So you can see this animation, so your idea will get cleared. So I hope you have enjoyed this session and your idea about engine will get cleared. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you.